Good evening and welcome to our Cobb County Board of Commissioners regular meeting this August 25th, 2026. In lieu of an invocation today, we will have a moment of silence followed by the pledge. For those of you who are willing, please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And I understand we have a firefighter here for the pledge. Yes, please join us up front, and I'm sorry. Please introduce yourself before the pledge. I don't have my form in front of me.
Thank you. I'm firefighter David Dolan.
And what year are you in?
I'm sorry?
And
What station?
yes, what
Oh,
station?
Station 4.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Our meeting is now called to order, and we do have one presentation before the Board of Commissioners, which will be brought by Commissioner Eric Allen, with the rest of the commissioners joining him as we recognize Lockheed Martin for 75 years of manufacturing excellence here in Cobb County. Please join us up front.
So tonight is a true honor to recognize a cornerstone of Cobb County's history, economy, and community strength as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of Lockheed Martin's Cobb County facility as an official U.S. Center for Manufacturing Excellence. For 7.5 decades, Lockheed Martin has represented the pinnacle of advanced manufacturing, innovation, and unwavering commitment to our nation's defense and global security. Their Cobb County campus is home to the world's largest continuously operating military aircraft production line, producing the iconic C-130 and C-130J Super Hercules, building center wing assemblies for the F-35 Lightning II, and leading Pioneer Skunk Works programs that continue to shape the future of aviation. Beyond their defense achievements, Lockheed Martin is a vital economic engine for Cobb County and the state of Georgia. In 2025 alone, their local operations generated an estimated $4.5 billion in economic impact. They employ more than 5,600 highly skilled workers and have added 1,200 high-quality jobs to the Marietta campus since 2019, cementing Cobb County's position as a global leader in aerospace. Equally important is Lockheed's dedication to our community. They have proven to be an outstanding corporate neighbor through active community outreach and heavy investments in the future of our workforce, supporting local schools, colleges, STEM education, internships, and apprenticeships. So the Board of Commissioners, thank you for joining me tonight as we give this proclamation to Lockheed Martin for their 75 years of extraordinary service, economic leadership, and community partnership. Thank you very much. And Trish is going to say a few words.
Well, good evening, and my name is Trish Pagan, and I have the honor and privilege of leading the Lockheed Martin Marietta site right here in Cobb County. It's just an exciting opportunity for us to continue the legacy that we've had in the county, and on behalf of Lockheed Martin's team, past, present, and future, we just want to thank Cobb County for your continued support and partnership over the years. Thank you.
That concludes the presentation portion of this meeting, and I will now turn things over to our our Department of Transportation Director. You're being promoted tonight. Director. He wasn't happy about that.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners,
There you
County
go.
Manager.
Thank you.
Drew Ressler, Department of Transportation, here to present our public hearing this evening. By way of background, upon the county's acquisition of right-of-way for the construction of Ernest Bear Parkway more than 30 years ago, portions of Old Horseshoe Bend Road and Horseshoe Bend Road were demolished, eliminating through access across the subject right-of-way. The county does not intend to construct a future roadway here. Therefore, the department has determined this unimproved portion of right-of-way no longer serves a public purpose. In accordance with state law, a public hearing must be held prior to the abandonment of a portion of right-of-way. The district commissioner has been notified of this particular request. Therefore, the department recommends the Board of Commissioners conduct a public hearing for the proposed abandonment of a portion of right-of-way along Old Horseshoe Bend Road and Horseshoe Bend Road located in land lot 642 and 691 of the 19th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, Georgia.
Thank you, Drew. As with all of our public hearings, we'll take an unlimited number of speakers to address this matter and to address this matter only, and you'll have up to 3 minutes to do so. And again, it's with respect to the abandonment of Old Horseshoe Bend Road. So we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing, and we'll take our first speaker. Okay, not seeing any, I will go ahead and close the public hearing and turn it over to you, Drew.
Of course. There is a vote associated with this, and for that, the department recommends the Board of Commissioners determine that said right-of-way serves no substantial public purpose, authorize the disposition of same by quitclaim deed to the adjoining owner or owners in accordance with state law, and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Okay, Commissioner Sheffield,
So moved.
Second.
is there any discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
That now takes us to our first public comment, and I will turn things over to our county attorney to help tee up this section.
Good evening. As the board provides the podium for public comment, it's appropriate to review the related meeting rules. Please state your name and if you are speaking on behalf of an organization. All comments should be made to the commission as a body and addressed through the chair. Public comment is not a dialogue with the board, but an opportunity for speakers to provide their comments to the board. Comments should not be slanderous. The board encourages, regardless of the topic, for the audience to be respectful and courteous to all speakers. Everyone attending this meeting should give others the right to both listen and be heard by treating each other with civility. Statements made during the public comments portion do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the board or the administration of Cobb County government, and a timer is on your podium for you to track your 3 minutes. The first speaker this evening is Ms. Denny Wilson.
Denny Wilson, District 4. I came here tonight to address you, Chairwoman Cupid. You have lectured us and chastised us over the years since you've been in that middle seat about decorum and civility. But you showed none in the zoning meeting last month when Commissioner Gambrill had a property up that she denied and county staff denied it. And just your attitude, yours and Commissioner Allen. I mean, Commissioner Allen cut her off. He didn't let her finish her sentence. You, on the other hand, Chairwoman Cupid, I mean, I don't know if you can see the look on your face, but we could, and I watched the meeting online. You just had a demonic look on your face when you looked towards Commissioner Gambrill and how you spoke to her and how you made it clear that you were not going to changed your opinion when she asked you, would you? And you said it about 4 or 5 times, but it's just the look on your face and the tone of your voice. So how do you lecture us on decorum and civility when you do not follow your own guidelines yourself? And that's why I'm bringing it to your attention, because I don't think that should ever happen again. I've never seen you like that, and I've watched you over the years. So I don't know what brought this about. I don't know what was going on between you and her, but it never should have been played out in the public. I mean, you should never go there. You are an example for the younger people to follow, or you should be. And you should follow that example to, make them look at you as somebody that they want to look up to. But that zoning meeting, I mean, if I were some young person, I would dismiss you right away. I mean, because that's not how you should respond to your colleagues here on the commission. And another thing, even in the SPLOS meeting, you talked about how good you guys got along and how you guys respect each other. And that was less than a month of this meeting here. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention so that, it never happens again, because over the years as I've watched you, I don't think that was you. Thank you.
The next speaker is Matt Stegall.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Matt Stegall. I'm in District 1, and I serve on the Transit Advisory Board. And I'm here to start off just to really just share my support for the microtransit. I know it's on the consent agenda tonight. I'm very excited about that. I know recently the county took a chance with MSPLOS. That did fail, but this shows that the county is willing to support and invest in mobility for all of its citizens. And I feel like that's very important for a county that is at the same time, trying to provide services to a ever increasing senior population, as well as trying to attract younger generations here as well. Having that mobility is going to be a great benefit for all. And, I know that the one expansion in South Cobb is for one more additional year, and the one in North Cobb is for 2 years. And I'm hoping that as a pilot, this shows that, already in South Cobb are seeing the ridership to places like Walmart, to places that are necessities for people, healthcare, their jobs, things like that. Giving people that freedom of mobility really is a great opportunity for this county. I hope to see it expand also in the future. One of the things also is hopefully partnering with the cities. I know right now we're only offering it Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But when it comes to festivals and a lot of the cities that have these events on weekends, always the biggest complaint is parking. And so seeing this microtransit shuttle, an on-demand shuttle, as a solution to kind of help alleviate the parking problems that the cities have, I'm hoping that we can see that as an opportunity there for mobility. That being said, when I thought it was interesting when I looked at the agenda item, and it was very detailed in the vendors and the companies and everyone that we're working with when it comes to this microtransit pilot. But then if you look at item number 20, which is related to the ARPA funds, and it mentions new technologies and new assets and all these things, without the level of detail, and even changing of vendors, without the level of detail as far as which those vendors are, I do think that there's a level of transparency that's not consistent between different topics as we look at different things. So for transit, we mention all of the different vendors, whether it's road construction projects, all of these things, we always mention what vendors we're working with. Yet for item number 20, I'm not seeing that level of transparency, that level of detail, mentioning what vendors we're working with and where that money is going to as far as those technologies and assets are concerned. So I'm just asking for some consistency when it does come to that transparency, when it comes to that level of detail. Serving on the Transit Advisory Board, we're honored to have conversations about operations, where the money's going, things like that. And I just think that the level of at least transparency and citizen involvement when it comes to other decisions is helpful as well when it comes down to it. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Donna Court.
Donna Court, zip code 30068. Chairwoman Cupid, Commissioners, and Dr. McMorris. I want to say ditto to everything my esteemed colleague Matt said. And I am actually here to thank you for your continued fiduciary care for Cobb County. Seeing items under the consent agenda number 11 and number 12 shows the public how our board does have cohesion on matters and unity for all of our county. Your commitment to do the right thing brings joy to my heart. I was so moved when we have talked about transportation and heard some very positive comments at previous commissioner meetings, and I would like to support that the county continues to look at us as a service. We're not a company, the county is not a company that makes widgets. We are a service. That is what we sell. We have some buildings and things, but we sell services. But beyond that, or we provide services, beyond that, transportation, please look at it in the new model. Under healthcare, we call it part of our SDOH. If you're not familiar with that, SDOH is a social determinant of health. It's more important than a service. It actually determines the human health of everybody in the county. What are the four major determinants of health? Transportation, access to transportation, housing, access to medications, and also access to food. So I thank you so kindly for being so brave and courageous to put in the consent agenda number 11 and 12. And I want to just thank you because I hope that we get to see this in next year's Cobb annual report. A dear friend of mine gave me this one from 2025, which is just a beautiful overview. It makes your heart sing to see everything that this county does provide for its citizens. And I thank you kindly for having such a strong fiduciary duty.
The next speaker is Virginia Choate.
My name is Virginia Choate. I'm here to speak on microtransit. Transit agencies and government leaders have increasingly turned to microtransit to solve problems and attract new riders. Chris Van Eycken, Director of Research and Policy at Transit Center, has noted that projects have not lived up to their promises. As policymakers evaluate microtransit service, it is critical that they understand its shortcomings. Microtransit hype might be justified if transportation budgets were unlimited, but that's not the world we live in. Southwest Transit in Minnesota saved $2 million less than the investment needed to bring microtransit service quality up to the city's expectations. Microtransit is likely to do more harm than good, as increased demand for the service requires more small vehicles for low occupancy trips. Microtransit often relies on so-called independent contractors to avoid paying guaranteed wages, dodging basic employment benefits, passing an operating cost to the workers or local governments. Unfortunately, even when the service is operated by the existing transit workforce, employers seek to create tiered job classifications with lower wage rates and fewer health, safety, and training standards for Microsoft operators. Microtransit mixed record on equity. Proponents of microtransit claim that it advances equity by increasing access to transit in undeserved communities. Unfortunately, the service has the potential to reinforce existing inequities, harming the most disadvantaged transit riders. But whether it's improved efficiency, equity, or environmental benefits, microtransit fails to deliver just like other technology fads. The reality is less impressive and more expensive than the marketing suggests. Due to limited vehicle capacity and individualized routing, an increase in microtransit demand requires that more vehicles and operators be put on the road.
The next speaker is Christine Rosman.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. As you can see, some of us have a tiara on today. I think that there's more that we have in common because I know that many of you are for the no kings and many of us are for no queens. And when it comes to being a leader, we expect to be listened to. What's become commonplace is that we don't get listened to. You have 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, and you vote along party lines the entire time. And that's why a lot of people have just quit coming to meetings, because why bother coming if it's going to be so predictable about how everybody votes? I have to say that Matt, his saying about transportation and transparency and free, everything's free. It ain't free. We're paying for it. So this whole thing of like this illusion that things are free, it ain't free. And basically, Cobb doesn't want microtransit, okay? And what we've seen in New York City, we don't want to mandammy Cobb County, okay? Our monies, our taxes are being squandered. This thing that's going on of like, get us down with Fulton County, with DeKalb County, and just make us a clone of all those. And I know a lot of times it's like, oh, we thought this up. It was so organic. This stuff isn't organic. Somebody is writing an agenda, and you guys are following it because it's too predictable. Again, we don't want queens. We want to be heard. We appreciate Commissioners Gambrell and Commissioner Joanne Burrow, that they listen. They might not agree. They might not agree, and then they will fight for their constituents. And that's why we're really scared. We're scared that we have some queens making decisions for us, not only here, but Board of Elections.
The next speaker is Victor Garrett.
Hello, everybody. My name is Victor Garrett. I'm a resident of District 4, Powder Springs, unincorporated Cobb. I'm here tonight to ask the commissioners for help with resolution of a matter, an abatement matter, for a property at 4218 Calawan Court in Powder Springs. So this property has been transferred through quitclaim deed from a parent to a son who is currently serving a 45-year sentence in prison. During this process, this house has caught fire. It has become completely neglected and become a public safety issue within our community. We have reached out to multiple different departments trying to get a resolution of this matter. We're aware of the processes that need to take place for this, but we also ask for your help to be able to come to a resolution to this matter. Through bouncing around the different departments, they are actually passing the buck, which we've seen a lot of, and we have seen minimal progress to this. We would like to ask between you all and the county manager to please somebody take responsibility for progressing this matter in a legal way and helping us with resolution to this. If you all need any more information, we have printed out packets. I don't know if we're allowed to hand out packets. In these packets, there's a full timeline along with pictures of the property and everything that has transpired, including the fire damage Christmas Eve of 2024. I'm representing probably 10 residents within close proximity to this residence. And like I said, we would just appreciate your help in finding a resolution to this issue. Thank you for your time.
Yes. No, I have a phone number.
All right, thank you, sir.
The next speaker is Derek Mosley.
Mr. Garrett, thank you, Chairperson, Chairwoman, and all the commissioners up here as well, representing our district. So I am.
Mr. Mosley, just state your name again for the record, please.
I'm sorry, Derek Mosley.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have nothing more to say. I am part of the neighborhood that Mr. Garrett represents, and so I just wanted to make sure the documents got transferred to the appropriate folks. And he explained the situation that is really intolerable. So we just want you all to drive it to a resolution, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Donald Barth.
Donald Barth. I hadn't seen y'all in a while. What is that thing called? A data center has taken up a lot of my time. I guess it's taken up a minute or two of y'all's. One of the things I want to thank right away is Dr. McMorris. Thank you for the new chairs. It's amazing. We do talk about being fiscally responsible, et cetera, and I understand you got a good deal. Not only did you get comfortable chairs, but you didn't break the budget. And that's what we need. That is, honest to God, what we need. You're not listening, so I don't even know why I would address you. I sit there and I listen to all this stuff. It's not that I haven't been paying attention, but we see that 160-something students for a daycare center where the county said that wasn't a good idea. Wow. Queen Cupid, you did your best. You're good. How about that micro transit? Have you rammed it down our throat? I feel you. You're good. Why is it on consent, something that important? Micro transit, we have a responsibility as a county to provide some services. Are you going to get some toilet paper, those man wipes, and go around and take care of everybody too? You're really exceeding the power. When you tell somebody like Kelly and Joanne they need you to go talk to somebody that works for the county, the people that work for the county work for all of us. I'm sorry, lady, you work for us too. I don't think you understand what that seat represents. Dictatorship? Why don't you quit tomorrow and go join Trump? You and Trump would be fabulous together because you don't care what the rules are. Make them up as you go. You'd be qualified up there under his regime. You could lie, start wars, put in transit. What suits you for today and tomorrow? As Christine said, I have been up here before and told you when I thought you were out of control. I do think you're out of control. And when we talk about the micro transit, I hope y'all take it off of consent tonight. It really is not an item that should be. But reading the paper last night, I see things like the trains are going to come back. When I was a little boy, we could go down into Atlanta and ride the train, either here, ride it out to Emory. So they're trying to figure out a way to get the rails back, real rails in New Jersey. Go stand by the railroad track, hop on the train,
Mr. Barr,
and it would take you.
your time has run. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is J.T. Jackson.
Hi there, JT Jackson, District 2. I wanted to start off by saying I'm super excited to see some of the progress happening on my own street, on Acres Mill down in Cumberland. I'm noticing there's some bike lanes going in. There's going to be, there's some work going on to have a crossing for that last neighborhood before you get to the river. So I'm really excited to see that infrastructure go in. If there was anything more that could happen there, you know, I'd love to see the sidewalk get put in on that other side of Acres Mill, opposite side of the existing Acres Mill trail. That would give us more options to get to places like Heirloom Barbecue or the Acres Mill Food Mart, or even just getting off of Cobb Link and crossing the street. You know, instead of walking through grass, I can walk on the sidewalk. And options, I think that's a really important thing to have. You know, living in Cumberland, I have the option to drive my car to a Braves game. I can ride my bike, I can walk. There's a lot of tools in my toolkit. And I support the microtransit because it gives those tools to other areas of the county where they haven't had that before. And I think beyond just being a tool for people to leverage, I think it's also a way we can inform ourselves. Microtransit is good. I don't think it's as good as, you know, fixed route service or rail, definitely not rail. But I do see an opportunity with microtransit to understand where the need is in these areas and use that to inform new fixed route services or edits to existing fixed route services. So we can make sure that the services that we are providing with Cobb Link are serving as many people as possible. So I appreciate that this is up on the consent agenda tonight, and we're giving people in other parts of the county the opportunity to have more options in how they choose to get around than just, you know, getting a car, paying for gas, paying for insurance. You know, they have this opportunity to traverse and experience the county in different ways. So thank you.
The next speaker is Joel Becker.
Well, I'm back, and I'm here to talk about your plan to approve more ALPRs. And I know that on item 20 you say the word new technology. We all know what that means. And I don't like them. But you know what I like even less? How little you've tried to engage with the community. I mean, you made those town halls.
Just go ahead and state your name again.
Oh, Joel Becker.
Thank you, Joel.
You made those town halls so that people could address you. And then you try to do this before the town halls under the radar. And that is not okay. We, the people, you should respect us enough to let us speak to you, to let us address you, and to let us tell you why we don't think this is a good idea. Otherwise, you will see the results of that in your next election. I mean, with these cameras, you've opened a box of people caring about local politics. Not just the people who show up to all these meetings, but people like me, people who usually don't care about this kind of stuff. So people will go, and people will vote, and more people will run. So you need to remember, you are accountable to the people, and you need to talk to the people and ask the people what they think, rather than trying to throw this under the radar and force this on us. Thank you.
That was the last speaker for this section.
Thank you. In response to some of the comments that we've heard, not only here in today's meeting, but also online, I am going to request that we do pull some items from consent and have some discussion. And those will be items 11, with respect to microtransit service in South Cobb. Item 12, with respect to microtransit service in Ackworth and Kennesaw. And also agenda item number 20, with respect to ARPA Public Safety and Community Violence Reduction Grant. Commissioner, prior to this meeting, we received 2 revisions to agenda items regarding agenda items 16 and 19. And so with that, I'm going to move that we approve the matters on consent as they have been revised, recognizing that number 11, number 12 regarding microtransit, number 20 with respect to the public safety grant will be pulled, and also recognizing the revisions to items 16 and to items 19.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Gambrill.
I would like to pull item number 25, specifically the BOC zoning hearing minutes for discussion.
Okay, so we will pull number 25 with respect to the minutes for discussion. Commissioners, before I move forward, are there any other matters we would like pulled from consent for discussion? Any other revisions I should recognize for our clerk? Okay. So with that, Commissioners, I move that we approve the consent agenda as it has been revised, and to authorize execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel, recognizing that we are pulling agenda items 11, 12, 20, and 25 for discussion individually.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I'm opposed to number 24, state lobbyists for Dogwood.
Okay. So for our clerk, we'll recognize Commissioner Burrow's opposition to item 24. Commissioner Gambrill.
And then I too am opposed to item number 24, but then also my motion was only to remove the BOC zoning hearing minutes, not all of the minutes, just for clarification purposes.
Correct, but we need to pull the entire agenda item of which that is a part. So we will pull the entire agenda item, and then at that time, you'll have the opportunity to address the specific part of that agenda item you would like to address. So Commissioners, again, I have shared a motion recognizing that we are pulling 11, 12, 20, and 25 for discussion, and I am also recognizing Commissioners Burrow and Gambrill's opposition to agenda item number 24. Is there anything else that I need to note before I call the question? All right, you're welcome. Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. With that, before we go to the regular agenda, we will have discussion on the items that were just pulled, beginning with agenda item number 11.
Good evening again. Drew Ressler, DOT, presenting item number 11. The recommendation on this one is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution to approve the Microtransit Title VI Service Equity Analysis for the proposed expansion of the Cobb Link Microtransit Service in South Cobb County and authorize implementation of the expanded microtransit zone.
Commissioner Sheffield?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Oh, wait, what do we, I'm sorry.
This is regarding
Number 11, okay.
number 11. This is microtransit.
Second.
All right. Well, you can still go with Commissioner Burrows' seconds. She said she seconded for purposes of discussion. We'll start with you. You can go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. First of all, I think that any transit in Cobb should be a referendum, as was decided by the state years ago. And we saw what happened. We saw what happened with the M-SPLOST a few years ago, and now most recent in '24, the T-SPLOST years ago and the M-SPLOST. My concern is that it really isn't fair to have a $2.50 fare or fee to ride, to go with microtransit when it's not qualified just for low income, seniors, disabilities, people that really need it. And I don't have a problem with that. If they really need it. Our senior services provides vouchers for seniors to get to doctor's appointments, grocery stores. So I just don't think it's fair to have the same door-to-door service at $2.50, which is the same fare or fee for riding the CCT, when you don't qualify the riders that really need it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other comments? Commissioner Gambrell.
I echo Commissioner Burrow's comments in regards to it should be on a referendum. It's one thing to have transit availability, and usually that transit takes you from point A to point B. What really concerned me about the conversations that we had at the last public hearing is this isn't taking people from a destination to another destination. We're taking them to their friends' houses. We're doing this. To me, that is not what public transit is supposed to be about. It should not be a personalized chauffeur. I also struggle with this because we have seniors and disabled people that rely on the voucher program. The cost to them to get a ride is significantly more than $2.50. So where's the equity in that? And a lot of these people are not in the area, this new service area. I know that this comment should be directed more towards agenda item 12, so I understand from point of order that I am not talking about the specific area that is under the agenda item, but it is part of my comments. But we still have areas that are not being served, even by the voucher program. So therefore, I cannot support this.
Thank you, Commissioner. Are there any other comments from commissioners? Thank you. Drew, I want to thank you and your team for all of your work in helping us move this forward. This item is for an expansion of a micro-transit area and an addition of a new transit area. However, micro-transit is not new to Cobb County. We've been operating micro-transit since 2015. And this will enable us today to provide this service in areas where we can make options more available to those who may not have access and to those that may view this as a more desirable option. Particularly, I think about the Kennesaw State area, the area around Ackworth. I know when we put in the flex service in 2015, there was inquiry even at that time for us to expand transit there. And then the augmentation of it in the South Cobb area, again, provides more opportunity for our citizens today. But I know that there has been some discussion with respect to the fare of $2.50, and just would like your help to address that. And as you address it, just inquiry if that's been the same fare from 2015 to today. And also, again, any other consideration around that fare.
Of course. As a is that a?
It's a question, yes.
Okay.
Again, the first it was a two-part
That's okay.
compound question.
I just want to make sure I
So
fully.
let me split that. The first one is to see if we've been charging $2.50 since 2015 for microtransit. And the second one is what further discussions have we had around fare?
It is. So 250 has been the consistent fare of the Flex and now the microtransit system. That was put in place because of the transfer question. So the goal of microtransit generally is to provide last mile connectivity where the fixed route cannot serve just because the routes are not efficient. So it provides both a trip to transit from transit. It does provide curb-to-curb trips as well, all within that dedicated zone. For simplicity, particularly as we went through the upgrade of our fare system in coordination with MARTA in advance of FIFA, it was simpler during the pilot to offer it as a $2.50 fare, consistent with the general bus fare as it exists today. But that is one of the questions of the pilot is just for example, our paratransit service is $4. Now it offers a broader range in terms of service area than these microtransit areas. But as it is a premium trip, that is one of the areas that we're very interested to look at what that fare ought to be in the long term, should this be a service that the board should choose to continue.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. And I know that there has been some questions about prorating this. Perhaps we're having a sliding scale based on income. I would just ask that that consideration be given for the variety of services that we have here in the county. And I'm not aware beyond, I'm not aware directly of any other service that we provide in the county on a sliding scale basis based on income.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Most of those services are provided for our seniors that are on a sliding scale.
Okay, so it would just be in our senior facilities.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other services in the county on a sliding scale?
I'm not aware of any particular ones, services such as in Parks and Rec or in other areas. I'm not familiar with that. I'm happy to take a look at that.
Okay.
But for the most part, we will be bringing back all fees in the next fiscal year for all of you all to consider as we look at fees. We haven't looked at them in the last probably 3 to 5 years. And so we can look at those, but for tonight, I can't say that we are doing things on a sliding scale, but for senior services.
Okay.
Chairwoman, I'm sorry, if I may, in terms of transit service, the only qualification that we utilize at this point is paratransit.
Okay.
It does require certification from, including information from a medical provider certifying that someone is paratransit qualified. That enables them to be allowed to use the paratransit service and the voucher service. Aside from that, Cobb DOT and Cobb Link do not use any other qualifications.
And now that I'm thinking, there is another service that we provide in the courts for some indigent care. Okay. Well, I know we'll look at fees when you bring them up. This won't be the first iteration that we have. Every dollar has a constituent. So I remember the painful process when we looked at senior services and fees. But for today, we understand this is a pilot program with our ability to look at all that's implicated should this become a regular service for the county. Commissioners, do you have any other comments or questions for Drew before I call? I'm going to, again, there was a motion, a second. I'll call the question. The motion carries 3-2.
Thank you. And item number 12 is to recommend the Board of
With Commissioners Burrell and Gamble in opposition, for the record. You could go ahead.
Sorry about that. Item number 12 is to recommend the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution to approve the Microtransit Title VI Service Equity Analysis for the proposed Cobb Link Ackworth-Kennesaw Microtransit Pilot Project and authorize the implementation of the new microtransit service.
Okay. Commissioner Allen, would you like to make a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Is there any further discussion? Not seeing any, we'll call the question. The motion carries 3-2. Again, with Commissioners Burrow and Gambrell in opposition. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you.
This now takes us to agenda item number 20 with the Police Department, and this is to authorize modifications of the ARPA Public Safety and Community Violence Reduction Grant.
Good evening, Chairwoman Cupid and
Good
Commissioners.
evening.
I'm Steve Casinda. I'm a Deputy Chief with the Cobb County Police Department. And the recommendation is for the Board of Commissioners to authorize the modifications to the ARPA Public Safety and Community Violence Reduction Grant with additional grant funding spending not to exceed $230,608.29. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the Chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Okay, thank you. There has been some questions around the vendor that has been selected to provide the technology that will be purchased with the remaining funds. Has there been a vendor identified?
There have been several that have been discussed, but nothing has been picked up to this point.
Okay, can you let us know the path forward for selection of a vendor?
Okay, there was 3 options that we talked about, and $150,000 was going to be spent on 15 ALPRs through Flock. There was going to be a software program for the analyst, and then computer upgrades.
Okay,
And those were not through Flock. The other 2, I don't know who they were from.
okay. And I'm not sure if you're aware, is this grant, is it time sensitive?
What's that, ma'am?
Is there a time clock with this?
Yes, ma'am. It's October 31st of this year.
Okay. There has been some questions with respect to the upcoming meetings for Flock and having the ability to have citizens address their concerns prior to us making a decision with respect to this. How does that impact this grant or this grant modification that's before us today?
The meetings with Chief Farrell are scheduled for this Thursday,
Yeah.
next Monday, next Tuesday, and then the 15th of September. There's four different meetings
Yeah.
to discuss concerns in the community about Flock.
Thank you. If we were to pull this agenda item and bring it back to our meeting in September, would that impact the ability to make the modifications desired?
Yes, it could, because we have to get this through by October 31st, so bringing it back is going to put us under a time crunch
You say get it through,
by the next one,
okay.
by the next BOC meeting. Yes, ma'am.
And that would be my suggestion if we could do that. Again, I just don't know how limiting it.
Yeah, my only concern, Chairwoman, is with the ARPA, at least the county ARPA money, it has to be spent by the deadline. The expenditure has to be made. So if we were to delay it, it could be that we would lose those monies.
This has to be spent by December 31st, correct?
Sorry,
The 31st?
Chairwoman, these are actually state ARPA awards.
Okay.
So they have a different deadline than we do internally. So this is not a part of the county's ARPA original allocation.
I'm sorry, if you can just help us.
Sure.
Even if you're whispering amongst yourself, the voices get magnified up here. So just, you can just help us in holding your conversation. Thank you. Go ahead.
So I'm sorry, just to clarify, these are state ARPA dollars that have been allocated to the county. So that's not part of the county's original ARPA award of the $147 million. So these do have the October 31st deadline, unlike ours, which we do have some flexibility up until the end of December.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Burrow.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out, that it's not our opera. And I know the state did a lot of this with law enforcement, and this was our share. But, I mean, this has been going on. It's not like we just all of a sudden are doing more equipment and flock cameras. I support this, but I mean, I don't want to see it miss the deadline and not be able to use it if we've already been allocated.
Okay. Has this already been allocated?
Yes, Chairwoman, this is part of the original award, so these are residual funds that we would have to allocate for this purpose. And
Okay.
I think as Deputy Chief said, if we do not spend them by the October 31st deadline, they would be returned.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gambrell.
Tried to sneak back.
No, you're fine. So if I'm understanding you correctly, and from what Deputy Chief Casinda said, essentially, we have to authorize this, but before there is an expenditure, that will come back to the board as another agenda item? Did I understand that correctly?
No, there would
There
be-
would- okay.
No, this is the authorization to move forward, and there would not be an additional agenda. So the key is, I think the Deputy Chief shared that expense, the funds have to be expended by October 31st, which is why this is time sensitive.
Okay.
Yes.
And do we know specifically if it's being used for flock cameras, or is there other types of technology? Because I know our police department is technology everywhere. So is that something that you can address as to how these funds are going to be used? Is it specifically for flock, or is it some other aspect that the department uses in fighting crime?
There were three things you were going to spend the money on. One was going to be the 15 ALPRs through Flock, and those were actually scheduled to be purchased back when the All-Star game was here, except due to permitting issues with the DOT, we couldn't get them at that time. So now we're asking to get them now. And then the other two items that we're going to use it for are a software program for the analysts, and then computers, to upgrade some computers.
And I know this might be out of the scope of your your knowledge, but the software that is going to be purchased to use for the ALPRs.
No, it's separate. It's for the analyst.
For the analyst.
Yes, ma'am. They work in the Real-Time Crime Center for them to go through social media and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I guess one of the concerns I know in the crowd is it being used in ways that it was not designed and intended to be used. So does the county or the police department have policies in place to ensure that information is not misused and that it is truly used for the intended purpose that the ALPRs were purchased for?
Yes, that's correct. The police department does an audit each month, and that's placed on our website. People can check and see our audit to make sure we're doing it and it's not for purposes other than from what we state, and we follow our policies and procedures.
Yes, please.
Thank you for that. We've been getting a lot of emails, and Chief Farrell has prepared a response which shows the audit, the actually restricted use to supervisors and chiefs, deputy chiefs, that not every officer will have access to this, to the flock cameras or LPRs. So that's all going to be explained. That's why we're having the town halls, and that will all be explained then. But, you know, the one in my district is Monday, but this is time sensitive tonight. So, but I mean, there are measures in place to prevent the abuse, and there has been abuse in other jurisdictions, even as close as the next county. And I think that's what everybody's been alarmed about, and rightfully so. But I think with the things in place that y'all have done in the police department to prevent that happening here, we've got a good handle on it with our police. So, and I think you'll find all that out if you come to my town hall, or the police town hall, Monday night, the 31st.
Okay, are there any other comments? I agree with Commissioner Burrell that similar to the flex matter, we've had this system in place for some time, but I also recognize the emerging concerns that people have with all that's been played out nationally. There's no denying here in Cobb County that we have seen correlation of crime decreases across the county, even in some of our more challenged areas with this technology. But we also want to be responsible stewards as we use it. We had a number of questions before. We've had this technology first installed here in the county, and certainly are getting a lot more questions. And I can understand the desire to see us hold this. I am concerned, however, that this was already moved forward before, and there were just some issues behind the scenes that it didn't move forward with a third party prior to FIFA. I'm inclined to support this item. I'm also inclined for us to have a robust discussion about why we are utilizing this technology. And again, I can just say there's correlation with significant improvement in crime. I've also talked about being a commissioner in the South Cobb area and also seeing us being efficient in addressing crime and being able to go after individual suspects without making the whole community a suspect. And that's been done with video feed. So there's just a lot of balancing in how we determine to move this forward, as there have been some monumental improvements for how communities have been targeted in policing when there have been some generalizations of suspects that have made communities become suspects as opposed to the individual and their individual features being the target of investigations. So I look forward to us having a robust discussion about this over the next 4 Flock Town Hall meetings. And I'll see if there's any more discussion from our commissioners before I call the question. Okay, Commissioner Burrow.
Just that there's flyers in the back table with the schedule of all the Flock town halls and locations, so
okay,
they can pick one up on the way out.
Thank you. I'll call the question. Yes, ma'am. There's not a motion. Oh, I thought we just started discussing. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, clerk. I'll move that we approve this agenda item as it has been presented. Second. Is there any further discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, we are now at agenda item number 25, which has been pulled from the agenda to specifically discuss the zoning minutes.
Okay. Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, and County Manager. Our item tonight is our standard minute adoption. Therefore, I request the Board of Commissioners approve the minutes from the following meeting: August 10th, 2026 agenda work session, August 11th, BOC regular meeting, August 12th, the Dobbins stakeholder meeting, and the August 18th BOC zoning hearing.
Okay, I move that we approve the minutes as they have been presented to us.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Gambrill.
I have a statement I'd like, and these again are pertaining to the August 18th, 2026. The statement is intended to document my conversation with Debbie Blair, County Attorney, which started on Monday, August 24th, 2026 at 8:30 a.m., at which time she agreed with me that Commissioner Allen had called the question during the Board of Commissioners zoning meeting on August 18th, 2026 regarding other business item 13 of 2026. It was my understanding that you also spoke with the clerk, and the Board of Commissioners was provided a revised pink sheet of the minutes for the record after the board work session, which had started at 9 a.m. that same day. Debbie Blair then called me today, August 25th, 2026 at 8:56 a.m. to state that the minutes would not be revised to reflect Commissioner Allen's calling the question. She then went on to state that after reviewing the tape, it was not heard that Allen called the question, and I said, go ahead, call the question, but no formal motion was made. Per Robert's Rule 1, the protocol for obtaining calling the question, 1, you have to obtain the floor. A member must wait to be recognized by the chairperson. I had been recognized by the chair and had the floor. Commissioner Allen was making comments out of turn without his mic on. Number 2, state the motion. The member states, I call the question. Commissioner Allen stated, call the question, and then I repeated what he had said as Allen's mic was off. Number 3, requires a second. Another member must second the motion. There was no motion or second. No debate is permitted. Once the motion itself cannot be discussed or debated, the chair asked for a discussion, which was not permitted. 2/3 of a vote. Because it deprives members of their right to speak, it requires a 2/3 majority vote to pass. However, Cobb County's policy is for 4/5 for zoning and land use. Number 5 of Robert's Rules, the outcome, if the 2/3 passes, or in Cobb County's place 4/5, debate stops immediately and the assembly votes on the underlying business item. If it fails, debate simply continues. The vote was not correctly taken. Robert's Rules state the motion is called the question. It does not specify that the member has to state, I make a motion, as Debbie Blair now contends. The act of calling the question is the motion. The chair had acknowledged me to have the floor for discussion, and my mic was on. Commissioner Allen made comments as to my statement, which was out of order and without his mic on for the public to hear clearly. You can clearly hear me address Commissioner Allen's comments. Commissioner Allen then said, you can call the question, to which I then responded, sure, we can call the question. Per Robert's Rules, a second is required and no debate is permitted. The chair did not ask for a second to call the question, whether it was initiated by Commissioner Allen or myself. The county attorney, as parliamentarian, failed to perform her duties as the meeting at this point was not following policy and procedures to ensure fairness. While Robert's Rules required 2/3 majority vote, the Board of Commissioners Zoning and Land Use Hearing Procedures, which was last amended on October 19th of 2004 and obtained through the county website, Section 20 states, it shall require 4/5 vote to adopt. As the call to question was not properly addressed, neither the vote on the underlying motion. Now, as I raised the questions as to process to ensure fairness, I was first told the minutes would be amended to reflect the question. And that email is documented to the clerk on Monday, August 24th, in which she responded at 8:38 a.m. Then I was told that the minutes would not be adjusted to reflect what had happened. I will submit for the record and ask these documents to be included in future minutes. The email I received from the clerk, again on 8/24/26 at 8:38 a.m., a copy of the revised OB 13 minutes, a phone record between the county attorney and myself, and a letter regarding this matter. What I'm asking the board is to amend the minutes to reflect the call to the motion as initiated by Commissioner Allen or myself, as you can clearly hear me on the video. This needs to be noted after the initial motion to deny. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just like to defer to our county attorney to help respond to that, please.
Yes, it is correct that Commissioner Gambrill called me yesterday morning and said that Commissioner Allen called the question. And my response to her was that if he called the question, then yes, the minutes should reflect that. At the time, I had not reviewed the video itself. After the fact, I went back and reviewed it, and it was not a motion to call the question. You can clearly hear on it. It's a little foggy, but you can hear. He says, "Can we call the question?" And since I was sitting here, I can also tell you that he was looking at Chair Cupid whenever he asked that question. Commissioner Gambrill heard that question, and she said, sure, we can call the question. At that point in time, Chairwoman Cupid opened the floor and said, are there any further comments on this issue? Okay, let's call the question. So there was never a call the question motion on the floor at all. If there had been, you're right, Commissioner Gambrill, it would have been improper the way it was done, but that is not what happened.
And again, per Robert's rules, it does not say you have to make a motion to call the question. And then I would further challenge you, the motions that we've made today, again, we've had an individual stand up in here and read a recommendation. Not one of us has said, I make a motion to approve the recommendation. It's been so moved. So have, have those motions been correct? Because we have not technically said, I make a motion. Because again, in Robert's rules and in our policy, it says a commissioner has to say, call the question. It does not say.
I have Robert's rules right here.
Do you have our policy? Because our policy.
Yes, hold on for 1 second. There should be one person talking at a time. So let's let Commissioner Gambrill, if you have a question you'd like to finish, I'll let you finish the question. Then when the county attorney responds, we need to let her finish her response so that we're not talking over each other. Is there a question you would like to conclude?
And the policy that I have read, when it is saying calling the question, it says a commissioner, quote, can call the question. After that, it is in parentheses, a motion. It does not state a commissioner has to make a motion to call the question. And again, this is where I further challenge it, because we have used call the question before, debate stops, and we vote. It has. So again, to me, the rules are being changed again.
Well, I disagree. I did not hear a motion on the floor on the, whatever day that was, the 18th. And it was not, there was no vote for it. There was no call the question motion on the floor. The vote was handled the way it normally is through the chairwoman.
Is there any other comment? Commissioner Allen started,
I just want to speak because this is the first I'm hearing of this. I wasn't part of those other conversations, so to hear my name in this is a little shocking. But I'll say that my comment was part of discussion. It was not a motion. The same way I've just tick marked, you said the term call the question 14 times during this discussion. So based on your own premise, we should stop things and now take this vote. That's not how Robert's Rules works. You can say the word and not mean that it is a motion or an action. If that's the case, we should stop now and take a 4/5 vote on the minutes. But that's not what we're doing under your premise. So my use of that word was no different than your use 14 times tonight as part of the discussion of when you went into it. Like I said, I haven't seen the video or went back and looked at it, but I believe it was when you went on the rant about the First Amendment and everything else and all the other stuff. And I looked at the chair, and knowing that that was out of order, can we call the question? Because that discussion had now veered into something that was not germane to the topic. So my comment was in as a question to the chair in order, can we call the question?
So then did you ask call the question, because now you've said it multiple times since we're keeping track, for the purpose and intent to stop my discussion? Because again, when you call the question, that is meant to stop the discussion.
When we first started, we asked for communication to go through the chair, and we don't always do that because we don't always have vigorous debate. But when we do, I just want to make sure that we just have some semblance of order, just so we don't heighten this. I've had Commissioner Burrell have a question after Commissioner Allen's comments. I'm going to let Commissioner Burrow speak, and then I'm going to come back to you, Commissioner Gamble. Commissioner Burrow. You're welcome.
Okay, so I did go back and watch the video after the discussion. And I do recall Commissioner Allen looking at the chair and saying, can we call the question? Commissioner Gamble said, sure, we can call the question. And Chairwoman Cupid said, call the question, and is there any further discussion, which you can't have after you call the question, but there wasn't any. Nobody said had any additional discussion, but she did say call the question after he asked, can we, and Commissioner Gamble said, sure, we can call the question, but the chair has to, and she did. So is that a motion, or it has to be a motion?
Let's see, after Commissioner Gambrell said, sure, we can call the question, and I'm assuming that was in response to, she heard Commissioner Allen's comment. The chair first said, is there any other comment? She paused, and then she said, okay, call the question. I mean, it's on video, we can see it.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm saying, once she says call the question, the chair, since it's her meeting, he's running the meeting, is that?
That is the typical way that votes have been taken. I mean, we do this regularly, and the chairwoman has always used the terminology call the question. She could say call the vote, but she uses the term call the question. And it's been understood up to this point that that means we're going to take the vote at this point in time. Yes.
So how do we resolve that's not in the minutes? How do we resolve it that it wasn't stated, three people saying call the question, or can we call the question?
So when there is an actual call the question vote per Robert's rules, or motion per Robert's rules, so the discussion is going on and one or more of the board members say we're talking in circles, or there's no new information that is going to be submitted, that member can say, I want to call the question, whatever. At that point in time, there has to be a second. There is no discussion on whether or not the question is called. The motion is made, a second occurs, no discussion, and a vote is taken. There was no second, there was no vote. If that call the question, as I just described, passes with a 4/5 under our rules, then the motion that call the question is discussing is then voted upon. So it's a two-step process. It doesn't just apply, I mean, the vote for call the question doesn't apply to the underlying motion when we're trying to stop discussion. And again, as I said, the chair uses the terminology call the question because in that case, it's been agreed upon or consent by the body that there is no further discussion.
Right, but I don't recall having a second.
We didn't, because there was never.
Any of our call the questions. I don't recall saying, anybody saying call the question and we say second, we vote.
But we're not, a Robert's Rules of Order motion is to end debate. When you call the question, that is to end debate. Right. And that is why, because it's interfering with, or could be stopping some of the members of the board, whatever board that is, from completing their comments, that is why a 4/5 vote is required. When the chairwoman uses the term call the question, she generally asks, are there any additional comments or discussion? Then she calls the question. You all are consenting to vote when you place your vote. If you had additional comments, it would be your opportunity to say, I have a further comment on it. So you don't have to vote if you have the opportunity to discuss the issue before that you actually place your vote in our current situation, the way we're doing it.
But once call the question is made, whether there's a second or not, that ends the discussion. And we vote. That's how we've done it in the past.
As
that
I'm saying, that
aware.
is the terminology that Chairwoman Cupid uses. It's not, I mean, and truly, actually, in Robert's Rules of Order, call the question is actually call the previous question. If you're actually reading Robert's rules. We, in our rules of procedure, use the terminology in section 20 as call the question. But it is indeed a separate motion to stop debate if you all are not in agreement of stopping debate. And that's the difference, the agreement to stop debate or not.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I come back to Commissioner Gambrill, and then we can continue. Go ahead, Commissioner Gambrill.
So, knowing the comments that were being said off mic, and then hearing call the question, how was I supposed to know it wasn't call the question to end debate or to call the question to make the motion? Because again, we've all gone through training, we've all been told as soon as somebody says call the question, as Commissioner Brill says, conversation stops. So how am I supposed to know that it wasn't the chair that originally said it? It was Commissioner Allen first. I repeated what I heard him say, and then the chair said it. So it did not originate from the chair.
The comment was directed towards the chair, and then you said, sure, we can call the question. I mean, you acknowledged that, and then the chairwoman said, are there any other comments? Does anyone have any other comments? So if you had disagreed and felt that you should have been able to continue your commentary, then you should have said so at that point in time.
So now what I'm hearing you say, that if we're having debate up here and somebody says, call the question, that doesn't mean we have to stop and that we can continue to have the conversation. And that call the question no longer means debate ends.
She's asking a question, and I would love to hop in some point. But she's asking a question to the county attorney. I'll let the county attorney respond. Commissioner Sheffield has not participated in this discussion. I'm going to go to Commissioner Sheffield, then I'll come to you, and then did you have another question?
Not yet, but I will.
Okay. So let me go to the county attorney, and then I'll go to Commissioner Sheffield.
So your question, Commissioner Gambrill, was when you hear the words call the question, how do you know if it's call the question or not call the question?
Or if it's a motion.
Please.
Yes, because as you've been explaining, the chair uses call the question to call a vote. And to you, when she said call the question, she was calling the vote. However, when it originated with Commissioner Allen, call the question to me meant debate stopped because he was not acting as the chair and running the meeting at that time. So how am I supposed to know the difference?
The difference.
If it means chair called the question to end the vote, or is it called the question because I don't want to have the discussion anymore?
As I just stated, my opinion on that is if you hear call the question and you do not want to stop discussion, then there needs to be a vote to call the question. There needs to be a motion to call the question. There needs to be a second. There needs to be a vote. If that vote is taken and it's 4/5, motion stops and the vote occurs on the underlying motion that's on the table. If the motion, call the question motion fails, debate continues.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go to Commissioner Sheffield.
I just wanted Debbie to confirm, you mentioned earlier that Commissioner Allen asked, can we
Yes.
Go to have a motion? So he wasn't making a motion, he was asking a question as to whether or not we can in that moment.
Yes.
Is that what you?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So he didn't make a motion, he just asked the chair if we could.
He said, can we call the question?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, was there, I don't know who go ahead.
And I'm going to direct this to the county manager, to the county attorney. Similar to what.
Let's give it to her.
Not to the county manager, county attorney, but similar to what. Similar to what Commissioner Sheffield was just saying, I just wanted that clarification of my question was, can we, because it was getting on a tangent, can we call the question and move forward, not as more of a parliamentary inquiry, not as a motion? Secondly, I think based on the written minutes or written comment that's going to be put into the minutes tonight that Commissioner Gambrill just read, I believe there was an acknowledgement that I didn't have the floor. That was in the writing. So for her to say that, maybe, I don't know how you can be confused of, did I have the floor to make a motion when in your written comments are going to be submitted for the record, clearly state that Commissioner Allen didn't have the floor.
Correct.
So I think once again, this would have no germaneness to the vote of the zoning. We're strictly talking about a parliamentary procedure to end debate that has absolutely no bearing or is not germane to the actual vote that took place. Is that correct?
Correct, right. You did not have the floor.
Thank you.
I'll just share, when you asked if I could call the question, Commissioner Gambrill did respond, yes, we can call the question. But because the banter was going between the both of you, which is why I asked if anybody had any further discussion, because I didn't want anybody to perceive that the vote was being rushed on this side of the dais, and I did not give the other commissioners opportunity to weigh in, which is why I asked if there was any more discussion before calling the question. Just wanted to make that clear. So again, commissioners, we have a motion. Thank you, Pam did nod. Do we have a motion? Let's make sure this document, I see Layla nodding. We have two clerks and a second. Do we have any more discussion on this matter? Commissioner Burrow.
So the motion is to approve the minutes as read and not revised from the original. Is there any way that discussion can be documented without?
It is documented via video.
Not for the record, but I mean in the minutes of what was actually said.
We can certainly add Commissioner Gambrill's notes to this if she would like to have that recorded. So that will be part of the discussion. Would you like that to be added?
Yes, I would like that added, but also in my closing statements, as I said, what I am asking the board is to amend the minutes. So that question has not been answered that I had asked.
Okay. There's a motion, there's currently a motion and a second to approve the minutes. We'll see how that motion proceeds. Okay?
With the addition of
With the
her
addition of her,
comment.
yes, ma'am. Thank you for clarifying. Yes, ma'am. So we have a motion and a second, and I'll go ahead and call the question.
Oops.
The motion carries 3-2 with Commissioners Burrow and Gambrill in opposition.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, that now takes us to the regular portion of this meeting. We have our first tab, which is the County Manager's tab. We'll hear from Dr. McMorris.
Poor Lee. He had to sit through. We always have.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Board of Commissioners.
It is my pleasure to present a recommendation of Mr. Lee Vaughn to be appointed to the position of Facilities Management Director. Mr. Vaughn has been a valued member of Cobb County's Facilities Management team since May of 2005. He began his tenure as a Maintenance Technician 3 before moving up the ranks as a skilled craft supervisor, facilities supervisor, maintenance supervisor, facilities project manager, custodial service manager, property maintenance manager, and construction division manager. He has served as deputy director since August 2024 and as the interim facilities management director since June 15th of this year, following the retirement of our previous director. Mr. Vaughn is a 2011 graduate of the Excel program. Before I ask for you to consider the recommendation, I would also just like to share just some of the projects that Mr. Vaughn has been involved in since he's been here with us in Cobb County. Cobb County Magistrate Court, Police Training Academy, Police Headquarters, Police Precinct 6, Police Firing Range, the Elections Headquarters, Sentence Enforcement Unit, East Cobb Library, Child Support Services, Community Development Renovation, the Employee Clinic, the Employee Gymnasium. So as you can see, Mr. Vaughn's extensive background in the various divisions of the Facilities Management Office has prepared him, or more than prepared him, to assume the leadership of this department. So therefore, Chairwoman and the Commissioners, I highly recommend that you approve the appointment of Mr. Lee Vaughn as our Facilities Management Director, effective tomorrow, August 26th.
Thank you. So moved as presented.
Yay.
Is there any discussion? Just want to thank you, Lee, for your continued service for us
I'd
throughout
like to
many
bring him up
projects
once y'all vote.
in the
Once
county.
you hit the vote.
Yes, if you are here, I'm blind.
If
to
Lee
distance,
and
yes.
colleagues
We
and
would
his
love to have
family-
you up front. If there are any guests who are with you,
Yes, ma'am.
I feel like you're in a wedding, like speak now or forever hold your peace in light of all that has.
I have a motion and a second. I have one discussion.
Okay. Just want to let you know, you're walking up here means that you're accepting all of this, all of us. We are a package deal.
Oh, we got a baby on the way.
Sunday.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Absolutely. All right, Commissioner Broll, did you want to add any comments?
And one other landmark that was left out is the Tim Lee Senior Center for the remodel of the bathrooms and the painting and furniture. You oversaw a lot of things in my district, and I'm very grateful for you. And congratulations.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? We have a motion. We have a second. I'll go ahead and call the question.
Is that a motion?
The motion carries 5-0.
Lee, would you like to say a few words, and then I'll ask you?
I'd like to thank everyone, Dr. McMorris, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Steve, all y'all for the confidence you given me. I really look forward to serving the county in this new role. I've got a great team to work with. I just hope I do them well. I'm really looking forward to the challenges ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations,
Lee, just want to
Lee.
welcome you to Support
Congratulations.
Services and the Department Head Leadership Team. We're glad to have you. Enjoyed working with you so far. Look forward to working with you in this aspect. Congratulations, and looks like you're going to need some time off soon.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. All right. Yes, congratulations. Thank you for hanging with us. Okay. Next up, we are at our Transportation tab, and we'll hear once again from our DOT Director.
Good evening again. Department of Transportation has 6 items for your consideration on the regular tab this evening. Our first item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC in an amount not to exceed $119,773.75 for 2027 resurfacing Americans with Disabilities Act ramp upgrades, contract number 1. Project number B2936, authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Allen.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC in an amount not to exceed $237,165 for 2027 resurfacing ADA ramp upgrades, contract number 2. Project number B2937, authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Advanced Sports Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $383,557 for Concord Road Covered Bridge, project number B2118. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC in an amount not to exceed $151,225.50 for drainage system repairs on Old Powder Springs Road, project number B22205. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the consultant services agreement with Pond and Company in an amount not to exceed $1,611,169.14 for preliminary engineering design of Oakdale Road Complete Streets Bridge Replacement, Cobb County project number B2449. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to add a thank you for this project. It's going to provide a lot of relief and congestion, from congestion on this, at this intersection.
Of course.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And our final item this evening is to recommend the Board of Commissioners authorize procurement of video detection communication manager equipment for traffic signal timing, traffic signal detection, project number B2564, utilizing available state contracts, and further authorize a corresponding budget transaction.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank
you, Drew. That now takes us to Public Services, and we have one agenda item with Parks.
Good evening, Chairwoman, Commissioners, Madam County Manager. We do have one item for consideration this evening. Our item is for the Board of Commissioners to approve a contract with All-Star Lighting and Electrical Services Incorporated to supply labor, equipment, and materials to install remote drivers for the LED sports field lighting fixtures on 4 fields at O.C. Hubert Soccer Complex under the 2022 Parks Plus program. The installing of remote drivers will allow for maintenance of critical components of the lighting system without the use of heavy equipment on the turf fields at O.C. Hubert. We ask the Board of Commissioners to approve a contract with All-Star Lighting and Electrical Services using Cobb County Master Agreement in an amount not to exceed $131,917.80 to supply labor, equipment, and materials to install remote drivers at O.C. Hubert Soccer Complex under the 2022 Parks Plus program, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the Director of Procurement Services to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gambrill.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. That now takes us to support services, and we have one agenda item with facilities management.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners, County Manager. Facilities Management would like to request that the Board of Commissioners approve a purchase agreement with Max Air Mechanical for the purchase and installation of 2 hydronic boiler units in the amount not to exceed $147,741 for the Cobb County Administrative Building. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the Procurement Services Director to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Allen.
So moved.
I'll second. Okay, go ahead. Is there any further discussion? Commissioner Burrow.
Just a note to change that interim to just director.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other comments? We'll call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. That now takes us to our second public comment.
The first speaker of the second portion, Sam Poster.
Oh, that is a T.
Sam Foster. I should start.
Sam,
I
imposter.
should start going by coaster. That would be nice. Poster. Sam Foster. I'll start now. I just wanted to come up and give some more comments about public transit. Obviously, by my shirt, you can tell I am in support of public transit, especially the microtransit service that we just approved for Ackworth and Kennesaw. And the reason I'm in support of public transit is not for the reasons of trying to spread equity, although I do believe personally that's important. I hear that as an argument used against why we should support public transit, or that we're trying to give people a handout, or it's not fair. Public transit is essential to every single city, major successful city on the planet. It's not negotiable. It's not a coincidence that Atlanta is one of the major hubs in the South. We also have the best transit system in the South with MARTA. It's not a coincidence that our cities, all the major cities in Cobb County, were built around rail systems. We have CSX running all throughout, Georgia, other railroad companies. That's not a coincidence. Transit is essential. And the question is not if we should invest, it's how we should invest. I think microtransit, as one speaker who I disagree with, but she did bring up the point, it's not the most efficient way to use the dollars. But I think when we got that vote results back in 2024, those crushing results that people keep mentioning, I don't think that was a signal to us to stop investing in transit. That was a signal that we ran a bad campaign, and also we came up with a plan that people did not approve of. Why I say that is because the majority of people who live in Cobb County are Democrats. The majority of this board is Democrats. People know what they're voting for. They're not confused. Democrats all across the country, all across the state are voting for transit. They're supporting transit. People want transit. So I don't know where this notion comes from that because a referendum fails, we have to give up on an ambition of delivering transportation, of public transit to people who obviously want it because they keep voting for people who support public transit. So how we are going to fund that public transit is a genuine question, and I think this is a first step, microtransit, and seeing where we're giving people real service and we can get data back on, can we improve fixed routes in some areas? Can we add fixed routes to repeated trips where people are just going back and forth and they're all taking the same trip? Can we make that a fixed route? And as we go forward, that's going to open up a lot of options for people to move around in different ways, and that also allows us to invest in different areas around the transit that we're building. For example, we have Town Center. I know we're trying to invest more in Cumberland. Having those essential connections connected by transit is just more efficient, especially fixed route service, or, God willing, we get rail someday. This is just a conversation we're going to keep having. So my request to the majority of the board is to just get bolder. The people who are coming against public transit are in the minority. And that's not to say we ignore people who live in this county. I appreciate everybody who speaks, but it is clear people want public transit. It's not a question. We've done polls on this. People want public transit. It's a question of how we do it and how we get there. Thank you.
The next speaker is Craig Harfoot.
Good evening. My name's Craig Harfoot, and flock cameras. You have the meeting on video. You could have played the video and solved it in 3 minutes, but you talked about it for 20 minutes or so. That's crazy. Why didn't you play the video? And Robert's rules would be obvious. But the next thing is your cheerleader squad over here in the Democratic Party says we want transit, we want microtransit, we want, but services, they act like you're investing money for services. You're not investing money. It doesn't have a return on investment. Look at New York. They're the highest density. If you want to go density to justify transit, then they can't afford to run it on the fares. The people can't afford to ride the train in New York. So they want a guy runs saying, oh, I'm going to make the fares cheap. Well, you can't because the economics of it don't work. So, I mean, all we can do in this county, we should only provide services that most people need. That's fire, that's police, we need roads, sidewalks maybe, bike trails. They don't get used enough to justify them. They just don't. And there's a lot of things that, transit where you have enough ridership to fill the transit vehicles. But to go out and just pick up somebody, and I'd love to see that the thing that if you're more than a half mile from the bus, you're not going to get to use it, because I think that was just thrown out there, and it's not even true. Because you may find you got to find a contractor that said, you're not going to go any more than a half mile, and we're going to pay you for a half mile trip to the station. But if you let it go, you'll run up stupid bills all over the place if it's longer than a half mile. So, I mean, you've put no safeguards in any of this stuff, and you don't have an open-ended check. And then a lady back here is saying, oh, you got to spend the money for the flock cameras. Well, the one thing you don't forget is video files. You put a moratorium on, data centers. What do you think all the flock camera footage is going to go to? It's going to go to the data center. And why did you have someone doing handwritten notes about meetings that you have on tape? It's so you can control what you want to said happens, not what actually everybody saw happen. That's not, get rid of court
Mr.
reporters
Hartford,
too.
your time has run. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the final speaker is Flora Tommy.
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Flora Tommy, and I am here to speak about the need for transit in Cobb County and the number of people who are asking for transit. It is not just the seniors and the disabled, it is also the businesses, because we have a workforce problem, such as in Commissioner Allen's district with bus number 15, which stops running at 9 o'clock. But the Braves and all of the whole entertainment section over there, they can't get workers to finish filling all the jobs because we have that unreasonable time limit. The time it starts at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Most places with those types of jobs, they start running buses at 5 a.m. in the morning in order to make sure that workers are in place, because these workers, therefore, are not on public assistance. Therefore, they can be able to build and support themselves financially with their families. That is one of the reasons I'm here to support transit. As to the notion that transit is actually supposed to pay for itself with revenue, I have been involved in the movement since approximately the year before 2000. I am the one who filed the federal complaint against MARTA that led to them and other transit systems across the country being required to meet the federal mandates of the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. Because as the Census Bureau showed in the year 2000, the fastest growing populations in the country were amongst the disabled and the seniors. And we had to prepare the nation for getting transit in place, because the cost of running vans, transportation services in Georgia was running like $137 for private transportation vans. It was eating up the Department of Behavior Services and the Human Services budget. That is why we came up with the notion that we got to deal with getting the country to move forward with not just fixed routes, paratransit. Microtransit was developed because we have these long suburban neighborhoods whereby a fixed route bus can't make it. So therefore, the determination in the study showed that if we cut those things in half by offering that, then people could use the microtransit to get up to the bus routes, which is what myself and others over on Powder Springs Road did. As Commissioner Sheffield can tell you, we are very user-friendly to transit in that area. Everyone who supports transit are not Democrats. There are Democrats, there are Republicans, independents, socialists, Green Party. We have to adjust to a changing nation. And in order to cut those expenses, we have to begin to look at transit in order to solve our pollution problem, because Cobb County has one of the worst transportation issues with cars sitting on the interstates and on the streets. That's not getting us anywhere to the businesses,
Ms.
to
Tommy,
the jobs.
your time has run. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There are no other speakers.
Thank you, Debbie. With that, that takes us to our appointment tab, and we do have a number of them, some requiring a vote and some requiring an announcement. The first one is for District 2. I'll turn it over to you, Commissioner Allen.
I make a motion to approve the appointment of Tony Waybright to the Housing Authority of Cobb County.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. For the next one, I move that we approve the reappointment of Karen Hallisey to the Development Authority of Cobb County.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. The next one is for Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you, Chair. I announce the appointment of David Hort to the Neighborhood Safety Commission.
Thank you, Commissioner. And the next one is District 3.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to make a motion to approve the appointment of Jean Blonde to the Public Library Board, and she replaces Peggy Poole, longtime servant and library fan, and appreciate Peggy's service to the Library Board.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. And finally, excuse me, that is a motion. Thank you, excuse me.
I'll second.
Thank you for that. Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. And the next one, I'm going to defer to Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you. I make an announcement to the reappointment of Wayne Blackstone to the Animal Services Board.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Sheffield. And that concludes our appointment tab. We will next have the Commissioner's public address, which will begin with Commissioner Gamble once her slides are on the screen.
Our Cobb County Police Department invites you to the grand opening of the Serenity Garden. The Cobb County Police Department invites you to this opening at Cobb Police Precinct 5 on Monday, August 31st at 2 p.m., which is located at 4640 Dallas Highway in Powder Springs. This special project was created as a Girl Scout Gold Award project by Morgan Lane Burson of Girl Scout Troop 15122. Please join us as we celebrate the opening of this beautiful new space and recognize Lane for her dedication and hard work in bringing this project to life. And join me and mark your calendar for my upcoming town halls, both beginning at 6:30 p.m. The first will be Tuesday, September 8th at Cedar Crest Church, which is located at 4600 Cobb Parkway, Northwest in Ackworth. And the second is Thursday, September 10th at the West Cobb Senior Center, 4915 Dallas Highway in Powder Springs. Both town halls will focus primarily on zoning and the comprehensive plan. Residents are encouraged to attend and learn more about these important issues and how they may affect our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gamble. That will now take us to Commissioner Allen.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone who came out to the town hall 2 weeks ago. Also, thank you to the interns that I had for the summer, Elsa, Gavin, and Jeremy, all presented on their areas of study, whether it be transit, housing, and the town center redevelopment. So it was a great summer for them. It was a great town hall, so thank you all for joining, and we'll be posting the date of the next one soon. Also, this Saturday was the Cobb International Festival. Just want to thank Chairwoman Cupid for hosting us there and having a great time. It was a great celebration of all the different cultures that we have in Cobb County, and Arjo even dressed up in her nice little garb. I know she's embarrassed right now, but she looked awesome. And we enjoyed all of the food, the fun, the family, the fellowship. So thank you, Chair. Oh, and Sana. Didn't even see she was in that picture. Look at that. She changed clothes after I left, so I missed that. That must have been in that bag you were carrying around. But thank you, Chairwoman, for the event. Thank you to her staff and all the Cobb County staff for hosting.
Thank you. Thanks, Commissioner Allen. We'll go to Commissioner Burrow.
On Saturday, I had the honor of cleaning up Johnson Ferry Road with Keep Cobb Beautiful, their quarterly Adopt-A-Mile program. And we did it a little earlier than normal because of the heat, but it wasn't bad at all. So thank you, East Cobb Civic, for cleaning up Cobb County. Also on Saturday, I had the honor of attending Father Panagiotis Papageorgio's retirement, as he calls it, graduation, after 20 years at Holy Transfiguration Greek Orthodox Church on Trickham Road. So it was a great celebration. The room was packed and just shows it was a great tribute to his 20 years of service here in Cobb. And as I mentioned before, we do have some upcoming town halls on the flock license plate readers. And the first one is in Commissioner Sheffield's district on August 27th. Mine is next Monday, the 31st at Sewell Mill. And then West Cobb Senior Center, September 1st, and North Cobb Senior Center, September 15th. And there are flyers in the back with the dates and times and locations. And then last but not least, I am hosting, thanks to Drew Ressler and the DOT team, there's several projects going on in District 3, DOT projects, so we want to give an update on those and answer any questions that you may have. So these are the projects that we are presenting and will be discussing. And of course, more can be added as questions come up. So that is Wednesday, September 2nd, from 5:30 to 7:30 at Tim D. Lee Senior Center on Sandy Plains Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrow. We'll go to Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you, Chair. District 4 news and updates. If you have questions about flock safety and how it is used in our community, join us to learn more, voice your concerns, and hear directly from the Cobb County Police Department about how technology works and its role in public safety. The first of the flock safety town halls is scheduled for this Thursday, August 27th, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the Milford Recreation Center in District 4, located at 675 Smyrna Powder Springs Road in Marietta. The annual Taste of Mableton returns this Saturday, August 29th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Mabel House Complex at 5239 Floyd Road in Mableton. The celebration kicks off with a lively parade featuring local marching bands and cultural performances, followed by live music, delicious food in a kids zone, and a vibrant marketplace featuring local artists. Hosted by the Mableton Improvement Coalition, the Taste of Mableton is a beloved community tradition you don't want to miss. And finally, attention motorists, Olive Springs Road from Barrett Circle to Stallcup Drive is fully closed following a utilities accident that damaged a water line and impacted the roadway and nearby bridge. The closure is expected to remain in effect through Friday evening, September 11th, weather permitting, while emergency repairs and safety inspections are completed. Motorists should avoid the area, use alternate routes, and allow additional travel time until the roadway reopens. And that concludes my updates. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheffield, and thank you all for tuning in and being a part of today's meeting. We got quite a lot accomplished today, including recognizing Lockheed Martin has been here with us for 75 years, which is quite significant. Also in promoting Lee Vaughn to Director. Congratulations to you and your family. As we know, it's a family affair. We wish you all the best in your continued service and leading projects across the county. Also would like to thank all of the staff that participated in the International Festival. It was a significant event from start to finish, from the planning to the execution. It was superbly done. There was a lot of energy in the room. Over 20 consulates had their offices represented. I'm very grateful that both Commissioners Allen and Sheffield were present to help honor the consulates who were there. We've had dozens of countries that were represented also with the food vendors and with the dances, and it's just a wonderful time and occasion. And I feel honored to be a part of a county that can celebrate the differences that are across this county and know that it adds to our strength. Finally, I want to recognize those who are here with respect to transit. We know that anything that we do to be able to connect people to opportunity helps to move this county forward. And I appreciate the support that we've had in making sure that we can get people from point A to point B, which for a lot of people we take for granted that we can hop in our vehicles, but for others we know that this is a necessity. But I've also learned from speaking to so many that this is an opportunity, it's an option for people to have another mode of travel, for us to provide less abuse and wear and tear on our roads, for us to improve not only the economic condition of our county, but also the environmental condition of our county as well. And so I'm grateful for the support of commissioners as we continue to move that forward. Again, thank you all for tuning in this evening. Our meeting is adjourned, and we look forward to seeing you at our next BOC meeting.